Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be checking out some more Australian regional Pokemon with our main man, Prog Magic. Let's hop in and see what he dug up today.
What if there were Australia-based regional forms and evolutions for Pokemon? Well, today let's answer that question with some from my Australia-based region and some. Hey everyone, Brandon here. Let's get
Brandon.
started with a Pokemon I feel most people expect to be in this region, and that is none
Komala.
other than Komala. Komala Harris. I really debated on
Komala.
whether to make a brand new Koala Pokemon for NSEM or to give this guy a regional form. So I decided to do both by giving Komala an evolution. But not just any old evolution, this one's special. You'll see what I mean
really?
after Komala levels up to 38 while knowing the new move Dream Up, where it evolves into Quality Pleasant Dream
Whoa.
form, a normal Psychic type, or Quality Waking Nightmare form, a normal Dark type, both of which I worked with Deems Fakemon to create. They are both categorized as the Duality Pokemon, which is where their name comes from, while also being a pun on the qualities they exhibit upon evolution. What form you get depends on Komala's nature. More peaceful sounding natures such as these will get you Pleasant Dream form, and more rousing sounding natures like these will get you Waking Nightmare form. And it would be my Waking
Now that is good, and I like that Waking Nightmare one.
if you didn't hit that like and subscribe button below. So give me pleasant dreams by doing that now. The new move Dream Up does different things depending on which form it takes. For Komala, it's just a base 80 normal type physical attacking move, but when used by Pleasant Dream form adds the effect of a 50% chance of making the Pokemon drowsy. And when used by Waking Nightmare form adds the effect of a 50% chance to make the Pokemon flinch. So let's talk inspirations behind these guys. Pleasant Dream form is inspired by Northern Grey Koalas, which are a bit smaller than their relatives, the Southern Brown Koalas that Waking Nightmare form is based on. Nightmare is additionally inspired by the Australian hoax known as drop bears. Tell Australians
that's
tourists
ugly.
to frighten them. That koalas will drop from their trees and attack them from above, so they need to make sure they check the trees for drop bears as they travel around the country. Dogs of these two forms have vastly different inspirations, with Dreamslog taking the shape of not only a grown eucalyptus tree, but also a didgeridoo, a musical instrument coming from the Aboriginal people.
Now, I'll be honest, I didn't see that. I saw a bat
Of Australia that makes a long droning sound, which I thought in a way could be equated to a snore. So Dreamform could snore into its log to use Dream Up, making a music that enchants the target to sleep. On the other hand, we have Nightmare's weapon, which is a hammer, where it drops the hammer on the heads of its opponents, causing them to flinch. Not only is it a hammer, but it also acts as a musical instrument, where the handle comes out of the hammerhead to make a drum and stick that it plays loudly. Because if it can't find peaceful slumber, no one can.
I was literally just thinking of that exact same meme. Oh, hell yeah, Brandon. Hell yeah.
Dreams added that I love is that Dream's floof on its head, when combined with its eyes, makes 3 Z's, which is a very famous symbol associated with sleep, and that one of Nightmare's eyes is a backwards Z. Like, this is an inverse of what a Komala evolution should be. And it's winking, because it can't even get a wink of sleep. Speaking of musical instruments, make sure to check out Jumpluff, who did the music for this region, and also did the soundtrack for the Devar region. They are immensely talented and definitely deserve your sub, so make sure to click their link in the card and the description. So from the expected, we go to the totally unexpected. Let's talk about a Pokemon I have advocated for and feel deserves more love, Bruxish. And I think I found the perfect way to do it in NSEM. So in the past, I had the idea for a Bruxish evolution based on a Goblin Shark. These incredibly nosy and toothy deep-sea fish, which can be found off the southern coast of Australia, felt like the perfect step up from the ugly appearance of Bruxish. And I say ugly as a compliment. Bruxish is supposed to be hard to look at. That's the genius of its design.
That's not
Huge lips and teeth with a psychedelic color scheme that references dazzling camouflage. Bruxish just happened to do that so well that people just actually don't like looking at it and ended up hating the Pokemon. But not me! If people's favorite Mario character can be Birdo, then let me have Bruxish, okay? Anyway, I thought a good way to fit this evolution in the region would be to mix in Aboriginal artwork, given Bruxish has these dots which are also heavily featured in said Aboriginal art. That led me to looking into if there were any kinds of psychedelics or hallucinogens used by Aboriginal people, which is when I came across Paturi, a mixture of leaves and wood ash traditionally chewed as a stimulant by Aboriginal Australians, having sacred and ritualistic significance, which altogether fits super well for the psychic type. But then
So, hold on, how was it pronounced? Patui? As in the sound normally used in cartoons when a character is spitting?
The whole thing really came together when I discovered Pittoriaspids, a small group of extinct armored jawless fish with tremendous nose-like beaks that look just like the strange noses of the goblin sharks. The reason they are called Pittoriaspida, which translates to hallucinogenic shield, is because their discoverer, Dr. Gavin Young, suspected he might be hallucinating when examining the first specimens, which is just such a hilarious story.
So dude found the head of a fish and was like, I gotta be high if I'm finding this.
Like, imagine discovering something so wacky that you think you must be tripping. So, our weirdly shaped, aboriginal, psychedelic drug shark
Tripping balls.
manifests in Bruxish evolution, Shark, the odd-nosed Pokemon, a water psychic type that I worked with Trainer Rex to create. It evolves from Bruxish
Not
after
pretty
defeating
bad. I mean, it's pretty
Tamarini
good.
in the Kalinia Coral Reef to the northeast of Ensum. This acts as a reference to yet another fish, the Titan triggerfish, which are the natural
Whoa.
predators of the Crown of Thorns starfish that Marini and Toxapex are based on, while also referring to how Bruxish is based on the reef triggerfish, being a different kind of triggerfish that evolves while in an enormous reef. Bruxish
That's
already
awesome.
has references to preying upon Marini in its Ultramoon Dex entry, so I felt it fitting that it would prey upon them to evolve, and its evolution would prey upon the entire line. And like,
I
of
can see
course
that.
it makes sense that a psychic-type triggerfish would prey upon a poison-type starfish with its psychic fangs, given their type relationship. And you should prey upon that join button to become a member. Membership to
Eat
this
it.
channel not only
Eat
helps
that
me support
button.
the artists I work with and keep this channel afloat, but also gives you incredible benefits. Members truly are the backbone of this channel, so hit that join button now. The reduced population of Marini and Toxapex in this region has led to the thriving of their prey, Corsola. So much so that in combination with the presence of the Kalinia Coral Reef, Corsola have unlocked a new evolution not previously seen in other regions. So when leveled up while in the Kalinia Coral Reef during the day, Corsola evolves into Corsolar, the Sun Coral
Whoa.
Pokemon, a water rock
That's
type that I
not
also
bad.
worked with Deems to create. As its category suggests, this Pokemon is based on the sun and sun coral, a type of stony coral that are actually not photosynthetic, preying on plankton instead. This feels fitting for Corsolar,
Nice.
as a sun-based Pokemon wouldn't need energy from the sun, as it is the sun. And as I'm sure you've asked by now, Brandon, if it's based on the sun, why isn't it part fire type? Well, dear viewer, that's where its ability comes in, Sunkissed, which is essentially like
Aw.
a fire-type version of Steelworker, ostensibly
That's
giving this
cute.
Pokemon a third stab type. It also refers to the fact that researchers in Melbourne, Australia have developed a kind of sun shield made to protect the Great Barrier Reef from sun bleaching. And with Sunkissed, of course that would mean this line would need access to more fire-type moves, so Corsolar would learn a couple like Flamethrower and Flame Charge, as well as a bunch from TMs or TRs. Okay, so I promise this video isn't clickbait. I will actually talk about some regional forms now.
Okay,
so
yeah,
first
here we
up,
go.
we have Insomnian Dodrio,
Based around a cassowary.
a fighting flying type that I also worked with Rex on. Insomnian Dodrio is more visibly based on the cassowary, a flightless bird and relative to the ostrich and emu that can be found in the
And
northeast
kiwi.
of Australia. They are known to be very wary of humans and can inflict serious, even fatal injuries if provoked.
Oh,
thus
yeah.
gaining a reputation
These things can literally slice right through you like a damn
as
bottle.
the most dangerous bird in the world. So the fighting type felt like an obvious choice, either that or the dark type. But the fighting type in combo with Dodrio's crest brings in another reference, with Doduo and Dodrio also originally being inspired by emus, and with Insomnia and Dodrio's crest being like literal brass hats, which is Australian slang for upper-ranking military leaders. This all acts as a reference to the
Oh,
Great
okay.
Emu War, a military
Oh.
operation by the Royal Australian Artillery attempting to curb the population of emus in Western Australia, due to them destroying an alarming amount of crops in the area. The
Yeah.
reason I say attempting is because the operation was actually unsuccessful, meaning
they
the
failed.
emus won. Insomnia and Dodrio have managed to get all three of their heads in line
And we still laugh about that.
and in sync. Fiercely united, they are an intimidating threat on the battlefield. That was kinda heavy, so why don't we move on to a more lighthearted regional form? Something to make us all happy. And I know something we all scream for. Ice cream! Well, except the people who are allergic to cold. Sorry guys. Anyway,
I like
allow me
ice
to
cream.
present Insomnian Vanillish, the Sandy Snow Pokemon, an ice ground type that I worked with the fantastic Div
Oh, you know what? When I actually saw its evolution on the thumbnail, I thought it was based around like fried ice cream, which is a real thing.
art to create. Australian viewers should automatically recognize this form, as it is clearly, clearly, based on the iconic ice cream bar, Golden Gay Time. There, I beat y'all to the joke. Honestly, we love
okay.
Golden Gay Time because they've doubled down on the queer representation and vehemently refused to
Oh,
change
wow.
their name when pressed about it, even though they are originally named after gay as in happy. For the uninformed, Golden Gay Time is a toffee-dipped vanilla ice cream bar wrapped in vanilla biscuit-like crumbs. So I felt the ground type would be fitting,
okay.
making the crumbs into bits of sand or loose sediment, and the toffee being like clay. I could have easily turned the crumbs into rocks too, but the last thing I want to do is give people another reason to hate on this line by giving it the ice rock type. Ugh, the quad weaknesses. But at level
Oh, so
47,
many.
Vanillish
Ugh.
evolves into Carmelish, the Sandstorm Pokemon. Its name comes from the toffee side of Golden Gaytime, with toffee being caramelized sugar and molasses mixed with butter. And yes, I called
I
it
didn't know
Carmelish
that.
because it fit the cadence and sounded better than Caramelish. Carmelish now have a couple extra faces that have joined this dessert
Carmelish.
Pokemon. These faces are based on Anzac biscuits, a popular sweet biscuit in Australia that has golden syrup as an ingredient, so mixing them with the biscuits of Golden Gaytime felt very fitting, turning them into a supreme ice cream bar. Or more like a sundae bar at this point. Giving this line a regional form also just felt right given the line's original designer, James Turner, is British, which ties in well to Australia's history
nice.
with the UK. Let's keep on this dessert train with an ice-type regional form of yet another Unova Pokemon. So allow me to introduce Insamian Dwebble, the Pavlova
Dwebble!
Pokemon, a
I
bug
love
ice type
you!
that I worked with the incredible Poketrainer VB on. Its category and shell really give it away, but this form is based on the famous Australian dessert, Pavlova. It is stored cold and is heavily associated with Christmas time in Australia, even though their winter is a lot more like the summer of the Northern Hemisphere. But the association
That's
still
fine.
stands. Insamian Dwebble will collect berries that it stores on its frosty back, creating an icy shell around them. The berries eventually
Aw.
biodegrade, but the shells still remain, making for these decorative berry sculptures. These are based on Ross berries, or as they were known in Gen 2, ice berries, which heal burns. And strawberries are a
Oh.
mainstay in most
Oh, yeah.
Pavlovas. At level 34, Insamian Dwebble evolves into Insamian Crustle, the
Oh,
Trifle
look at
Pokemon.
that.
Once again, this has a category that tells on itself, being a trifle-based Pokemon. Trifles are
Trifle,
also associated
okay.
with Christmas time, so the cream-like snow around Crustle's mouth is a reference to Santa Claus's beard.
I
This
was
line's
just
red
saying.
coloration references the Christmas Island red crab. Each year, millions of these crabs migrate across the island to its shores, much
Oh,
like
yeah.
Santa migrates across the world to deliver presents.
I would actually recommend looking up clips of seeing those crab migrations because it is so just impressive. It's just a swarm of red going across the entire lands.
Almost wanted to call this thing Crustful, but that felt like too much of a stretch. And it is not only based on a trifle, it is also based on another Australian sweet treat known as lamingtons. They are sponge or butter cakes
Lamingtons?
coated in chocolate and coconut, acting like the crust
Huh.
of the dish. The coconut I thought would work wonderfully as snow or frost, while the chocolate looks like dirt, working as a reference to this line's original typing. So this dude is a hodgepodge of Australian dessert references. And
Not
honestly,
bad.
a lamington trifle sounds extremely delicious. So we have yet another design from Gen 5 that people hate on with Trubbish here. I made
Trubbish.
an evolution for this guy a long time ago that I wanted to bring into Ensum. So at level 36 while in Ensum, Trubbish evolves into Detribus, the trash
Oh.
bird Pokemon,
Oh,
the
okay.
poison flying type that I worked with Fungusmon on. This Pokemon was found in our collab with Carney X, where we gave Gen 5 Pokemon armor evolution.
Oh, I thought it looked familiar.
The whole concept behind this Pokemon is that the Australian white ibis has the nickname of bin chicken in Australia, as they are another form of trash scavengers like raccoons or seagulls. Also, we haven't had a new poison flying type since Crobat, who is my favorite Pokemon, and I think that's just a shame. So what do you think
Yeah,
of
we
these
need
regional
some.
forms and evolutions? Make sure to let me know which one was your favorite. And a huge thank you to our amazing members whose names you can see for supporting this channel with
This was actually a pretty good one, even if it was a little short. Good, funny, and I enjoyed it. Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.